There are many things that make our nation unique, and American art is one of them. Art is a reflection of the time and place it is created. The Butler Institute of American Art in Youngstown, Ohio, was the first building specifically built to house an American art collection. The museum was founded over a century ago in 1919 by Joseph G. Butler, Jr., and is nationally acclaimed, where our sole focus is the art of America. The Butler has one of the premier collections of American art in the nation, including 22,000 artworks. To walk through the Butler galleries is to walk through the history of America. Join me as we explore our treasures. 4 centuries of American art. American Impressionism, the first modern art movement lasting a century, is a style of painting related to European Impressionism and practiced by American artists in the United States during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The style originated in France during the 1860s. The painting style is characterized by loose brushwork and use of light on the subjects, as evident in this painting by Robert Vanno titled "In Flanders Field Where Soldiers Sleep and Poppies Grow," painted in 1890. Unlike early Renaissance painters, American Impressionists favored asymmetrical compositions and cropped figures in the works that they created as a more impressionistic version of the subject. In addition, they used pure colors straight from the tube, creating a more vibrant effect in their work. They also used short, broken brushstrokes and practiced impasto, a style of painting characterized by thick, raised strokes of the brush and a quick application of paint. What do you notice about the color and brushstrokes in the painting compared to the paintings we've previously looked at, created by the colonial portraitists and the Hudson River School artists? Look at the brilliant and rich colors applied straight from the tube. Often the Impressionists brushed several colors of paint directly onto the canvas. They placed the colors next to each other and let your eyes do the visual blending as opposed to blending colors with a brush. Flanders Field is pure Impressionism. Do you see the very quick application of paint creating a textural quality to the composition? As you gaze closely, you see each brushstroke and dab of paint from the tube. As one moves back from this oil painting to look at the entire artwork, what do you notice about the colors, textural quality, and floral patterns, as well as the figures in the middle ground to background? Our eye's ability to look at the entire composition and to visually blend the colors provides an overall cohesiveness to the painting by America's most renowned Impressionist painter, Robert Vanno. We look first at Agatha and Her Child by Mary Cassatt, painted in 1891. Agatha is placed left of center as she lovingly displays her child in her arms. Mothers with children are perhaps the theme most often associated with Mary Cassatt. The focal point, main point of interest in the composition is these 2 figures. Notice they are cropped as we don't see the entire figure of the mother. A closer look at Agatha's auburn reddish-orange hair complements the dark blue shades of her dress and the blue eyes of her child. Of special note is the medium used in this work. Cassatt chose pastels differing from oil paints used in the previous artworks we've looked at. We see short, repeated strokes of her pastel sticks in the flesh tones and throughout this composition. Notice the perimeter of the work, where her strokes become longer, looser, and freer, and we see the paper showing through. William Merritt Chase and Frank Benson showcase the subjects placed asymmetrically in their compositions. William Merritt Chase's oil painting, Did You Speak to Me?, features his daughter as the focal point. As in Mary Cassatt's pastel, we see the asymmetrical positioning left of center of the girl. Chase, a very successful practicing artist, chose to engage the viewer in the composition as his daughter turns to look at him, and the viewer in this case. His use of highlights in her dress and reflected in her face carry us throughout, as we see light reflected on the polished furniture, and his painting shown in the background. Rich colors selected by Chase feature the impressionistic quick brushstrokes of the background colors and that of the floor. Just as William Merritt Chase's painting, Did You Speak to Me?, depicts his daughter occupying the space of his studio as it sparkles with reflected light, Frank Benson's figure in the oil painting Red and Gold shows an elegant figure of a woman glowing and positioned asymmetrically and cropped. Her brilliant white dress and bright red shawl are the focal point as we gaze at the positioning of her arms as they frame her face. In contrast is the bold black and gold Japanese screen in the background. Truly a masterpiece in American Impressionistic portraiture is this painting by John Singer Sargent, the leading portrait painter of his generation. Mrs. Knowles and Her Children, painted in 1902, showcases a mother and her sons in an informal yet elegant family setting. We notice Sargent's perceptive attention to detail with the barefoot child's playful pose as he gazes at the viewer, the young mother's gown with its stunning gray and white folds depicting a quick brushstroke on the edges of the ruffled trim to accent the textures and fabric. The composition captures the viewer's interest as light and color move your eyes through this masterpiece. Each of the impressionistic works we've looked at capture a moment in time, the reflection of the movement of real people in real-life situations.